The sound of rain hitting the empty streets of Atlanta was like a whisper of warning. It was close to midnight, when the world feels too quiet and the shadows seem alive. A lone woman walked under the flickering streetlights. Her name was Danielle Rivers, a tall black woman in her late 30s, dressed simply in jeans and a leather jacket. She looked like any other woman heading home after a long day. What no one knew was that Danielle wasn't just anyone. She was the chief of police, the highest law enforcement officer in the city. But that night she wasn't carrying her badge. She'd left a dinner meeting early, exhausted from politics, corruption, and endless reports. Her service pistol and ID sat locked in her car a few streets away, and GZDs away. For once, she wanted to walk like a normal citizen, feel the rain, breathe without power hanging over her head. As she crossed through a dim alley, a shortcut she'd taken dozens of times, her phone buzzed. A text from her deputy read, "Chief, the mayor's office is asking about the new anti-gang initiative. Should I stall?" She smiled faintly, typing a quick reply. But before she could hit send, a short voice sliced through the rain. "Yo, lady, you lost or something?" Danielle froze. Three men stepped from the shadows, hoods up, faces hidden. One was tall and lanky, another short with tattoos creeping up his neck, and the third wore a red cap turned backward. They surrounded her like wolves circling prey. Danielle's instincts screamed. She kept her voice calm. "I don't want trouble. Just passing through." The tall one smirked. "Trouble? Now, lady, you just got unlucky tonight." He grabbed her purse, yanking it from her arm. Her phone clattered onto the wet pavement. The second man shoved her shoulder roughly, forcing her against the wall. Rain poured harder, masking her quiet, measured breathing. Inside, the cop in her was already analyzing three attackers. No weapons visible yet. Narrow alley, 2 exits, camera on the street corner. She'd make sure of that later. The short one started rummaging through her bag. "Man, she broke. Ain't nothing but some id and a few bills." The one in red laughed. "Still worth something. Maybe her phone, or maybe we make her give us more." His tone turned dark. Danielle clenched her fists. She could take them down. She'd done worse in training, but any sudden move could make them violent. "Take what you want," she said softly, "and leave." But the man in red stepped closer, sneering. Nah. You don't get to talk like that. You think you're better than us, huh?" He pushed her chest roughly, and her back hit the wall. Lightning flashed, and for a second, her eyes met his. Cold, calm, unafraid. Something in that stare made him pause. It wasn't fear. It was authority. It was command. "You got 5 seconds to walk away," she said quietly. They laughed. He raised his hand, about to strike her, but she caught his wrist mid-air. With one swift motion, she twisted it, sending him to his knees. The other shouted, jumping toward her. She dodged, elbowing the tall one hard in the ribs. A punch came flying. She blocked it, countered with a knee to the gut. They stumbled back, shocked by her strength. "Yo, this lady crazy," the short one yelled. Danielle stepped back, breathing steadily. "Not crazy," she said, "just done being polite." The men fled down the alley, cursing and tripping over puddles. Danielle exhaled, shaking her head. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from restraint. She could have ended it worse, but tonight she wanted peace. She picked up her phone. Screen cracked. Her reflection stared back, wet, tired, and furious. She whispered to herself, "You picked the wrong woman tonight." She didn't know yet that this simple act of robbery would explode into something much bigger, because those men had no idea they'd just assaulted the most powerful cop in Atlanta, and by morning they'd learn exactly who they messed with. The next morning, Atlanta woke up soaked in rain and rumors. 3 men were found beaten and bruised behind a liquor store. They told police a crazy woman attacked them in the alley, but what they didn't say was why. Meanwhile, Chief Danielle Rivers walked into her office like nothing had happened. Her uniform crisp, her badge shining, but inside, a storm brewed. Her deputy, Sergeant Lewis, noticed her silence. "Chief, you okay? You look like you didn't sleep." "I didn't," she replied, setting her cracked phone on the desk. "Had a long night." She opened her laptop and pulled up the city's surveillance feeds. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with quiet fury. The camera from that alley had captured everything. The 3 men attacking an unarmed woman, her defending herself, and their faces clear as day. Danielle froze the frame. "Got you," she whispered. Lewis leaned over her shoulder. "Who are they?" "Street crew. Small time. Been hitting tourists and locals near South Hill. Want me to issue warrants?" And Danielle hesitated. Her professional side said yes, but her human side, the one who'd been shoved, mocked, and treated like nothing, wanted more than justice. She wanted understanding. No, she said finally, not yet. I want to see how far this goes. Later that night, she drove back to the same neighborhood. The rain had stopped, but the streets still glistened under neon signs. She parked her car, stepped out, not as Chief Rivers, but as Danielle again, from a nearby corner. A homeless man called out, "You shouldn't be here, lady. Bad things happen at night." She smiled faintly. "I know. I'm counting on it." She wasn't hunting with anger. She was studying, tracking, a shadow among shadows. Hours passed, and then the same three men appeared again, laughing, drinking cheap liquor, their arrogance loud. They had no idea she was watching. One of them, the one in the red cap, said, "Man, I still can't believe that chick last night. Thought she was gonna kill me." The tall one laughed. "Yeah, but she didn't. Yes, we scared her off good." Daniel's eyes narrowed. Not only did they not feel remorse, they felt proud. That moment sealed it. Tomorrow, they wouldn't be laughing anymore. She turned and walked away, vanishing into the darkness. Tomorrow, she would show them what it means to mess with power. The following day, the city police briefing room was packed. Officers murmured as Danielle entered, her expression unreadable. "Morning, everyone," she said. "We're stepping up patrols in South Hill. 3 suspects, assault, robbery, intimidation. They've been targeting innocent people." Her voice hardened. "Last night they hit the wrong target, and now they're going to pay." The room went silent. Nobody knew what she meant, but they felt the fire behind her words. She projected the suspects, photos on the screen. Names: Marcus Tate, Darnell Price, and Kevin Lyle. "Find them. Bring them in." Unharmed, Lewis glanced at her. "Chief, we could have done this quietly." "Why the big show?" Danielle looked him straight in the eye. "Because I want the city to see that no one is untouchable, not even the people who think they own the night." By noon, the manhunt began. Patrols swept through South Hill. Word spread fast on the streets. The chief herself was leading the operation. Meanwhile, Marcus, Darnell, and Kevin were hiding in an abandoned warehouse. Marcus paced nervously. "You think she's after us?" Darnell shrugged. "Man, she don't even know who we are. She's the chief of police. She got bigger fish to fry." Kevin frowned. "Then why is every cop suddenly in our neighborhood?" They didn't know Danielle had already tracked their phone pings. She knew exactly where they were. That evening, she drove to the warehouse alone, lights off, badge tucked away. She wanted them to see her, not the uniform. The moment she stepped inside, her voice echoed through the dark. "Marcus, Darnell, Kevin." They froze. "Who the hell's there?" Marcus shouted. "The woman you robbed." They turned toward the sound and saw her. Leather jacket, calm eyes, no fear. Kevin's face went pale. "You, yeah," she said. "Me." Marcus laughed nervously. "You got guts, lady, but walking in here alone, dumb move." She took a step forward. "You think because I'm a woman, I'm weak. Because I'm black, I'll stay silent. You think I'm one of your victims." She pulled a badge from her pocket, slow, deliberate. The gold glinted under the broken ceiling light. "You're looking at Chief Danielle Rivers, the chief of police for this city." The tension inside the warehouse was electric. Kevin dropped the bottle in his hand. Darnell backed away, shaking his head. "Look, we didn't mean nothing. It was just bad luck, okay? Bad luck." Danielle stepped closer. "You attacked a woman because you thought she was weak. That's not bad luck, that's choice." Marcus tried to sound tough. "You ain't gonna shoot us. You cops play by rules." Danielle smirked. "You're right. I do. But rules also say I can arrest you for assaulting a law officer." She pulled out her phone, hit record. "Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. So go ahead, tell me how it happened." They froze again, realizing she wasn't bluffing. Every word now mattered. Kevin finally broke. "It was my idea. We didn't know who you were. We were drunk, desperate, and violent." She cut in. "You could have killed someone. You've been terrorizing people for months." Marcus looked down. "Please, Chief, don't ruin our lives." Her tone softened, but only slightly. "You ruined your own. But maybe I can give you a chance to fix it." They looked at her, confused. "You'll turn yourselves in. You'll confess. And you'll work with the department's community program to stop other kids from becoming like you. And if we don't, Her eyes darkened. Then I released the footage from last night. And trust me, the city will tear you apart. The three men exchanged glances. Slowly, Marcus nodded. We'll do it. Good, Danielle said, holstering her weapon. Because justice isn't revenge. It's responsibility. A week later, the city was buzzing. The news broke. 3 men arrested for assault, part of new rehabilitation initiative led by Chief Rivers. Cameras flashed as Danielle stood at the podium, giving a statement. We live in a city where fear grows when we forget who we are. But courage means standing up, even when you're alone in the rain. These men made mistakes. They'll pay for them. But they'll also help us build something better. Reporters asked dozens of questions, but one stood out. Chief Rivers, how did you get involved personally in this case? She smiled faintly. Let's just say, justice has a funny way of finding the right people. That night, after the cameras were gone and the city went quiet again, Danielle walked down the same street, the same alley where it all began. She looked up at the flickering light. Rain began to fall once more, gentle this time. She whispered, "Wrong woman. Wrong night." The thunder rolled, distant but powerful. In that sound, she heard something deeper, not vengeance, not victory, but peace. Because in a world that often forgot what justice truly meant, Danielle Rivers reminded them all that strength isn't about power. It's about knowing when to use it.